On this episode, the tortoise and the hare. Hey everybody, this is the Quarter Show, and we're talking about the tortoise and the hare. Famous story, Aesop's Fables. Perhaps your parents read it to you when you were a kid. Great book, by the way. Last night I was reading to my daughter. We have this, the gold cover or the gold, lined pages, beautiful book of Aesop's Fable, and there's tons in there. I don't even know how many. There's a huge amount, and they all have great lessons and things like that. And I happen to grab it. We have read our kids' stories at night and stuff, and I grabbed this one thing from the shelf, and obviously read another story, and then I read The Tortoise and the Hare, which we're all familiar with. But most people drill it down to the simplicity of, at the very end, there's that one line that says, "Slow and steady wins the race," and essentially nobody actually knows the entire story, the classic story, and so I thought I would take an opportunity to kind of run through my viewpoint, because I think a lot of people get this wrong. I think a lot of people talk about, they drill things down and they literally make it about slow versus fast, and that's not what I believe the story is. In fact, I unequivocally consider myself a tortoise. I always have, and so I think the real lesson, the true lesson is to stay the course, is to stay the course and stay persistent on a given path. Because when you read that story, the tortoise, the thing that the tortoise does is that he continues. He goes on the path, and he just continues on the path all the way through until he crosses the line and gets to the finish line. And no distractions. He doesn't deviate. He just stays the course towards the given goal. It's not about how fast or slow he goes. It's that he persists on a given path until the goal is attained. Whereas the hare suffers from hubris, right? Overconfidence. Being too cocky, being overconfident. So the hare suffers from hubris, and it believes that it's going to beat the tortoise so badly that it bolts ahead and then messes around and then has a nap, and then actually literally has a nap in the race, and i.e. slacks off, i.e. drops out its work ethic entirely. And by the time it wakes up, it then gets distracted because it doesn't know where the hare is and runs all around trying to find where the hare is, only to ultimately arrive at the finish line and find that the tortoise is already there. And so I think there's the lesson in there. When you look at that story, I think the lesson is that don't get distracted, don't suffer from hubris, continue on your path no matter the obstacles. No matter how much you slow down, continue on that straight line. Stay the course until you attain your goal, and stay focused on it. Don't go chase butterflies. Don't get distracted. Stay on route and keep going towards your goal until the goal is attained, and do that with every single goal. And I think that when you look at treating every single goal and working steady and treating everything as a cycle of action, if you will, as a cycle of action that you persist on until done, that is going to be the most successful model out there. And a lot of people, there's noises and there's distractions and there's, I could go do this and I could go do that and all these different things, that people rarely stay the course, and rarely do they just complete, let's say, a cycle of action and stay utterly focused on it. And I have seen time and time again that I think one of the greatest traits of any successful person I've come across is that they are incredibly good at staying the course. They've been doing what they've been doing for 17 years or 25 years, and any person could easily get distracted and go and chase butterflies. And when I say chase butterflies, and it's something I wrote in here, and I talk about just being distracted and just going off and just chasing a new idea after new idea. And let's say you're doing this one thing, and now you bounce to this company, or you go here and you go here, and you see the runway with a lot of these people. They do every year and a half, they're completely changing things up because they get bored or distracted. But it's because they lack discipline in their ability to stay the course and stay focused. But unequivocally, the people that I come across that are incredibly successful, I kid you not, they've been doing what they've been doing for 20 years, 25 years, 15 years. They've been doing that same thing like the tortoise, working on the exact same purpose, the exact same goal line, and just plugging along and staying focused, staying the course. Yes, there's a lot of invitations to derail and get distracted, but the people that win put on the blinders. They don't get distracted. They don't derail. They don't suffer from hubris and get overly confident and cocky. They just keep doing that thing, and ultimately that thing leads to winning. It leads to small wins and progress and big wins. And I think when you look at the story, personally, when I look at the story, it's not a story about speed versus like slow versus fast. It's not. And I think you could simplistically look at that and say, oh, slow and steady, wins the race. But it's really, I think it's really about staying the course, staying focused, staying true to the goal, and persisting on a given path until the mission is accomplished. And keeping your work ethic in, keeping your discipline in along the way while you build out or while you pursue that goal that you're going after.
Yeah, if you want to succeed, whether at a sales job or something else, I can talk about sales for sure. If you want to succeed there, then you need to have, if for any work day, you need to have like a bubble for yourself. You need to not totally isolate, but you need to essentially isolate yourself to your cycles of action, what you're trying to get done. And to the degree that you have, that you get distracted by, texts or calls from your spouse, or you go on Facebook, or you do different things like that. Like, to the degree you do that is the degree that you're literally just letting things go. It's a bit of an ethics point, and people have all sorts of interesting excuses for it about how they can't focus, or they can't, they have to. There has to be some excitement, or all sorts of different reasons, and they are all BS.
I was reading an article on that line. By the way, you're being a hare when you do it, but I was reading an article 2 days ago that said that the human beings are literally rigged to just natively get distracted.
Like that. So stupid.
Yeah, but the point is, let's just say for kicks that it's true. The difference between the ones that are like the tortoise is that they put discipline in on themselves, and they put in things to figure out how to stay focused. And my point to you is that it's not that unique. It's not that original to be distracted. It's not that original to be the hare. Anybody can be the hare.
Yeah.
Anybody can be the hare.
That's what's so funny, because I have run into folks who feel like they take a certain pride or a certain a badge of courage in the fact that they are distracted, or they need the next newest shiny thing or whatever, and they're always into that.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, that is such a bad way of operating.
Yeah.
It is so terrible, because it puts the universe completely in charge of you. The universe is in charge of you. It's your boss. When you feel that way, or you think you're that way, if you start thinking you're that way, you're number one, you're wrong. Sorry. Number two, I'm in charge of you, Rob's in charge of you, the walls are in charge of you, everything's in charge of you. So you have to just cut that out.
Because you're the effect of your environment, right?
Totally,
As we say, you're the effect of your environment. With the tortoise, it doesn't matter what's going on in the environment. He doesn't get distracted. He doesn't do anything. He literally has the blinders on and stays the course until he crosses the finish line. And I think that's the core lesson of that story. Is it's not speed versus that. Yeah. The thing is, the rabbit is cocky, suffers from hubris, lacks discipline, is a slacker, right? And literally puts too much stock in his native talent, thinking I can just bank on my God-given talent of speed or whatever, and I'm good to go. And you know what? You can't sidestep the hard work, the work ethic, the discipline, the staying the course. You can't sidestep it, and nobody's above it. Any successful person that you know will tell you exactly what I'm telling you right now. And I think that's the true lesson in the tortoise and the hare.
Yeah, and even like having a win in sales, getting a good sale done, or getting a new client, or different things like that. That, especially to a newer salesperson, and I'm sure I went about it that way. It acts as a distraction. It acts as a big win, and you kind of go, whew, you take your foot off the pedal. You do different things. A couple days ago, I mean, at this point, whether I close a large deal or a small deal, Rob and I high five. And then that's the amount of emotion we've put into it
Yeah.
at this point, and it's on to the next one. Okay, what do we got now, right?
Yeah, what's next? Yeah.
And so the closer you can get to that point where the success you just had is already behind you, and like you're moving on to the next thing, because I get it, it's fun. I mean, I've celebrated a lot sometimes and really felt super glad, and it's okay to feel that way. Nothing wrong with that, but you got to keep yourself focused on your mission, because your mission is not, yes, that's a win. Yes, it's a game. Yes, you started it, you changed it, and you concluded it, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But your real gain is the growth of your company, the growth of your position, the growth out in your life, whatever you bring to the table for all of the things you interact with. So. Yeah, the Hare mentality, all I think about, I don't know, this is getting kind of off the wall, but I think the Hare was like tripping on LSD or something like that. He's seeing things and he's going crazy, and that Tortoise is like, I got nothing but what I'm doing, right? The Tortoise, he's in charge of himself. He's in charge of his mission and his ambition.
And he's confident he can win, in fact. Even when the Tortoise says, I'm so fast or whatever, the Tortoise is the one who actually says, I'll take you up on the challenge. Not because he's cocky, but he's just confident in his modus operandi, right? He's confident in his what he knows works, right? And he's like, I can do this, and then just does it and doesn't get distracted and just does it. I've always had great admiration. There's somebody who works here, incredible fortitude and ability to sort of focus and stay the course on a given task, and I've always been amazed by that. I think that that's an incredible skill. I think that, for me, I've always been distracted easy. I was labeled ADD, when I was a kid and stuff like that. And so I've always battled that kind of stuff, but I've overcome that by being disciplined, by putting my work ethic in, by staying incredibly focused, and by working to be the tortoise, not the hare. And I think that, it's a funny, it's just a children's story, but there's a lot to learn from that story, and I think there's a lot of parallels and analogies that can be drawn in the regular workaday world. And I think the hare is unequivocally the thing you don't want to be. And some people, I've heard other people talk about the story, come up and things like, be both, whatever. And I get that. You do. You don't want to be fast. I love speed. We talk about speed here, but I don't think that's the lesson of this given story. And I think, yes, it's important to be fast. I love speed. We work very quickly here, and I do. I love speed. But I don't think the story is about slow or fast. I believe it's deeper than that, and I think that it's about that staying the course and keeping your discipline in and not being a slacker and not getting distracted. And that actually is the best model for attaining any goal.
Well, check this out. There's a bullet and there's a pinball. Both move fast.
Yeah.
The bullet is like, I'm going there.
Yeah.
Pinball's like, I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah, just staying on that complete, tunnel vision.
Yeah. I like it.
Target, and yeah, if you're going fast and you're completely distracted and dispersed and unorganized about it and without a plan or whatever, and again, like, you're just not going to get there, and I've seen that too many times. So thought it'd be fun to go over that today. Hope you liked the episode, and of course, if you haven't already, subscribe down in the corner there, and follow us on Twitter at The Quarter Show, and hit the like button and share it on social. Okay, thanks so much for watching. More coming at you soon.